Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies. Before we start, man, can y'all please join the Discord? Follow me on Twitter at the Boot Tragedies. Those links in the description. But man, it's almost game day. It's almost game day. The Saints play a football game on Saturday, not the usual Sunday, Monday, Thursday night games. We're playing on Christmas Eve, and thankfully, if the Saints lose, you're not gonna ruin my Christmas on Sunday. We don't need that. So good. We have a Saturday game against the Browns. It's gonna be absolutely insane up there. From the weather standpoint, it's looking like it's gonna be a very, very bad day. And usually, most people would think that would fit the Browns, going the Browns' favor. But let's be honest, the Browns aren't really a good football team. This isn't the Browns of old where they can just run the ball, play defense, just do things in the cold like that. They still have Deshaun Watson. He's not used to playing in the cold. Amari Cooper, he's from Dallas. He's not used to playing in the cold. So it's not like they just have a bunch of guys that are just used to playing in this cold weather and are ready for it. So this is going to be, honestly, this is a mid-off. This is two bad teams trying to win a game. Both with very, very slim playoff hopes. Both teams can be eliminated from playoff contention this week. So it's going to be an interesting battle, the 5-9 Saints against the 6-8 Cleveland Browns. We can just look at Cleveland. Obviously, the big thing coming out of Cleveland is Deshaun Watson's back. Since he's been back, they're 2-1. The first game against the Texans, he was awful. They lost against the Bengals 23-10. Then they beat the Ravens 13-3 without Lamar Jackson. So this offense hasn't been good at all. This offense hasn't been good at all since Deshaun Watson's been back. They scored 10 points against the Bengals, 13 against the Ravens, and in the Texans, they scored 27, but if I remember correct, they had 2 defensive touchdowns, so obviously, I'm just not buying into that. This offense hasn't been good since Deshaun Watson has come back. Since he's come back, it's been 3 games. He's 56 for 92, 60% completion percentage, 568 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, been sacked 6 times. Obviously, they have Nick Chubb, who's one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's run for 1,200 yards this year, has 12 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt, who's a good backup running back, they obviously have him. On the receiving core, Amari Cooper's having another good year, almost 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Donovan Peoples-Jones also has 780 yards. Njoku, tight end, 550 yards. He's their third leading receiver. So they have some good weapons. They have a good team on the offensive side of the ball. It just doesn't click for them. It's kind of like us. We have weapons, we have pieces. Well, they have a quarterback, we don't. But it's just not clicking for them. I don't know why. I don't watch a lot of Browns game, but their offense just hasn't been clicking for them as of late. Now they play the Saints. The Saints, obviously, our offense clicks when it wants. Maybe a drive or two, and then it disappears for the entire game. Our defense has been solid over the last couple of weeks. We're just having trouble closing games on all fronts. Now, before I get to know more about this game, I'm going to talk about the injury report because, of course, the Saints injury report is long. But I think we finally, for the first week ever, I found a team with a longer injury report than the Saints. Obviously, Marshawn Lattimore, he's been limited for 3 weeks. We play Saturday, obviously, so I don't know if he's going to play. I'm going to just assume he's out. He's been limited for 2 or 3 weeks. He's been limited again this week. I just have no, inkling that he's going to play. He's a dangerous injury in the abs, bruised kidney, things like that. I just don't think he's going to play for the rest of the season, in my opinion. That's just me. I have no news on that. I'm just guessing. Marcus May showed the injury. He's been limited all week. I think he's going to play. I mean, he has to play. We got Chris Olave is the big one. He's the big one. He hasn't practiced for 2 days. He didn't practice Tuesday. He didn't practice Wednesday. Let's see if he practices today. But if he doesn't, it's going to be spooky for us. It's going to be very, very spooky if Chris Olave can't go. Ryan Ramczyk, he's just rest days. We're good. Jarvis Landry. Now, that ankle injury he's been having, he's been limited all year almost since he's come back. But now it's a DNP. He's not practicing. So that's kind of scary. That's definitely kind of scary. You have Chris Olave and Jarvis Landry both haven't practiced this week. Man, you tell me. You tell me what that sound like. Then you have Adam Troutman. He's been limited. Dwayne Washington, sick. He hasn't practiced all week. Then you have Pete Warner, hamstring injury. See, the one thing about coming back from injury, you're probably going to be susceptible to another injury. Pete Warner, who's been out with that ankle injury, usually when you come back, you go full speed, you're probably going to get re-injured. That's just kind of how this game goes. And so Pete Warner has a hamstring injury. He hasn't practiced all week. And if he can't play, the crazy thing is I'm not even upset about it because Caden Ellis and Demario Davis is obviously more than capable of doing the job. It'll definitely be upsetting because it's going to be cold, and you will want 3 linebackers out there. There's going to be a lot of sets. You can have 3 linebackers out there now, but Caden Ellis and Demario Davis can definitely hold it down. P.J. Williams, that knee, he's been limited all week, and let's see if he can go. We're definitely going to need all hands on deck on defense because the offense is hurt once again. Offensive line is healthy. That's the one thing we couldn't say all year, except for Cesar Ruiz, who got hurt on the last play of the game. The last play of the game against the Atlanta Falcons, Cesar Ruiz gets hurt on a quarterback sneak. It's a lot. Never mind. I won't even get into it, man. That's just welcome to the tragedy. That's our luck. A game we finally won. Gave ourselves, a little bitty chance of doing something this year, just a small bit, and then we lose our right guard for the rest of the season with a Lance Frank injury, so he's not going to play again this year. Now let's go to the Browns. Myles Garrett, he's been sick for the last 2 days, hasn't practiced. I'm going to say Myles Garrett's going to play because it's Myles Garrett. Jadeveon Clowney, he has a concussion. He hasn't practiced the first 2 days. Now, that's different, especially with the game being on Saturday. He's probably going to have to be cleared today to play in that game. He hasn't practiced. Then you got Nick Chubb, a foot injury. He hasn't practiced Tuesday and Wednesday. So you got Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, and Nick Chubb. They're their best guys, hasn't practiced yet. I'm not saying they're not going to play, but if they don't, I wouldn't be mad. I'm just going to be honest. David Bell, their wide receiver, toe injury. Amari Cooper, rest/hip. He hasn't practiced for 2 days. So, they say rest/hip. If he doesn't play, like I said, I won't be upset. A.J. Green, cornerback, not the receiver, A.J. Green. He's fully practiced. They got a linebacker. I'm not even going to pronounce his last name. Jordan Kunziak or something like that. Hamstring. David Njoku, he's been limited. They're tight end. Donovan Peoples-Jones did not practice, but then fully practiced. Then you got Denzel Ward, who's been limited, who's really good. Jake Conklin, their tackle, he just rests. And their guard, Wyatt Teller, ankle, limited practice. So both teams are beat up. I think the Browns may be more beat up than the Saints. So for the first time this year, we're going to have another injury-riddled team playing against us this Saturday in Cleveland. But, man, I'm going to pull up this weather and some things that's been reported out there already. I think it's supposed to be 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts at the game. That's absolutely insane. I'm looking at a chart right now that Nick Underhill tweeted out or retweeted from, some news or weather thing in Cleveland. It's gonna be brutal. Starting at 6 a.m. Friday, wind gusts from 56 miles per hour, 59, 58, 54, going all the way through Saturday from be able to run the ball in this type of weather. Can we? Absolutely. This is where Taysom's going to be very, very important. Alvin Kamara is going to be very, very important. At least having 4 of our offensive linemen, 4 out of 5, is going to be very, very important. I expect to see a lot more Trevor Penning in this game because obviously that extra lineman is going to help, especially with Cesar Ruiz being out. And maybe he'll slide to guard, for some plays that we just can't get it done. But we're going to need all hands on deck in the run game. On the defensive side of the ball, that run defense has been absolutely brutal, absolutely awful this year. We had a bad game last game against the Falcons, but that's 2 games in a row against the Falcons. We haven't been able to stop that zone read. You know how the Saints get with mobile quarterbacks. We just can't do it. So we're going to be able to have to run the ball and stop the run, and we can win this game. The Browns aren't world beaters. They're 6-8 for a reason, but on the same note, we're 5-9 for a reason. So it's going to be an interesting game, and I'm excited for it. If we win this game, we put pressure. We put pressure on the other teams in NFC South. That's all. We just put pressure on them. Trace McSorley will be starting for the Cardinals. I'll have more on that if the Saints win, because if the Saints win, now we all got to watch the Bucs game, and we got to see what happens, because now it becomes interesting. Now it becomes, maybe we have a chance. But we have to win this game against Cleveland, or the season's over, in my opinion. So if we don't win this game against Cleveland, not even in my opinion, I think it's mathematically we may be done. So we have to win out. We have to win back-to-back games for the first time. Can Dennis Allen finally get over the 4-game? Since he's finally over that 4-game win hump, we're at 5 now. Maybe he can get to 6. Maybe he can get to 7. He finally beat his career record in wins, which was 4. That's funny. But, hey, man, that's all I got for Cleveland versus the Saints. I'll probably have more tomorrow on this game if something comes up. But the game is Saturday, not Sunday. Glad we get to enjoy this before Christmas, because don't want to ruin anybody's Christmas. As always, man, it's DaBoot Tragedies. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. Hey, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button, man. We're trying to close out this year strong, especially in the Discord, Twitter, Twitch channel, which I will be using next year, and on YouTube. So thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, this is DaBoot Tragedies, and I'm out.